JUICE has to measure, once we will be in Jupiter, very faint magnetic fields from the giant and from the moons. Therefore, it has on board a set of magnetometers which are extremely sensitive. And for that, we have to make sure that the spacecraft is extremely clean magnetically wise. These sensors are actually mounted on a deployable boom, a very long boom, it's 10 meters long. So they will be as far as possible from the spacecraft body so that they will measure the environment. They will not measure the disturbances from the spacecraft. So we have to also to measure what exactly is radiating to make sure that these disturbances do not interfere with the measurements of the sensors.
This is our facility for measuring the magnetic emissions in time domain, so the changing magnetic fields of all the units which will be built into JUICE. We have several sensors arranged around the unit we want to measure, and then we capture the time profiles of the magnetic emissions, and the requirements are such that the cutting-edge scientific instruments integrated on JUICE are not disturbed by the spacecraft, and the emissions should be even lower. And this in the clean environment of free space. And the question is, how do we verify this on Earth? And in order to do this with off-the-shelf equipment, we use a trick, which is the extrapolation. So we measure much closer to the units, and then we can extrapolate and even verify these harsh requirements. We were very lucky that right after developing this new facility, JUICE was the first customer in order to apply these methods.
In August, we made a test in the clean room in Airbus in Toulouse, where a set of different type of magnetometers, there were flux gate magnetometers and also surge coil magnetometers to work them at different frequencies, set around the spacecraft to capture all the possible disturbances while the spacecraft was working. So you can see here that there are 7 masts placed at specific distances around the spacecraft, and then behind there is an acquisition system, and then we do a lot of post-processing to reconstruct the field which is radiated at different frequencies in AC. There were also some sensors from the scientific teams, the scientists involved in the mission that they are the responsible of these magnetometers, and they were placed also their magnetometers at different positions along the direction where this deployable boom will be opened, and also another position where there are items which are likely to emit a certain level of disturbances to see if everything was fine. So we did this test in August, and it was actually a first. It was really a first, because this type of test at spacecraft level had never been executed before. It was done at unit level, so in both at ESTEC and also in Airbus Friedrichshafen. Most of the units of the spacecraft has been tested and measured with a scaled down system, actually with the same magnetometers, with same sensors, but on a smaller scale. And it was the first time that we could extend this system to a larger scale, at system level scale. So we were actually anxious to see that would work or not. And it was fantastic, because it really worked extremely well. Our measurements could also be cross-correlated with the measurement from the scientists who were performing the same measurements with their own sensors. And what we discovered as well is that the spacecraft is extremely magnetically clean. So when we will be in flight, we are quite confident that the sensor will be able to measure exactly what it comes from the environment and not what it comes from the disturbances of the spacecraft. It was 1 week of very hard work. It was really, really intense. But we worked so well all together like a single team that we had really beautiful results. Really, it was really amazing. It was mind-blowing. My background, I'm an electromagnetic engineer, so yeah, that's what I was doing, and I was doing testing. So I've been doing testing all my early life. I'm back to do testing and integration and working in labs. And in the clean room, I feel like at home.